everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach. Here we talk about overlanding, gear, builds, DIY, all sorts of stuff related to modifying your vehicle, getting out there, adventuring in the outdoors. Today, we're going to be talking about the Land Cruiser. 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser FZJ80. This is the triple locked version, meaning it has a locker in the front, the rear, and the center. And I want to show you everything that I've done to it so far. So let's jump right in. Just a little aside, if you're actually wondering where I got this cool hat, this is from Black Dog Traders. They sell Land Cruisers. These gloves, these are awesome. They're from a company, I think in Idaho or Montana. They're called Giver. I'll link them both down below. I bring this stuff everywhere I go because I like the look and functionally they work really well. With that out of the way though, let's jump right into talking about the Land Cruiser. So this is a 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser. It is, I think, the top of the line package, meaning I have the sunroof, all the leather seats, and then the triple lockers. And I got this kind of on a sweet deal. I was just watching Facebook Marketplace and it popped up and I bought it within 24 hours of the listing going live. The cool thing is it's a pretty close to rust-free. It's got surface rust and, you know, it's not quite perfect, but it's about as close as you can get to a California car. It was owned by someone in Iowa in the United States, and they drove it only in the summers, and then in the winters they left it parked. They had lived in Iowa a couple years, and prior to that it was a California Land Cruiser. So it's been really clean. Doing all the modifications on it has been convoluted in the fact that building out a Land Cruiser is not quite as simple as a 4Runner, but overall, turning the wrench has been a lot easier than my 4Runner, which is crazy to believe considering my 4Runner as a 2015. With that all kind of out of the way, and to just explain, it's got about 175,000 miles. It's pretty clean, and I've done some sweet modifications to it. So let's talk a little bit more about those. All right, let's start out in the front here. This is a Descent off-road bumper. I'll have all the stuff for the Land Cruiser linked down below. This is an awesome company out of Northern California, and I think they make the cleanest Land Cruiser armor. You can get a lot of safari looking bumpers out there, but I just think Descent makes the absolute cleanest looking front bumper. Inside the bumper, we have a Harbor Freight Apex winch. This is their 12K Badlands Apex winch. Total synthetic line, remote, everything, all the bells and whistles. Really appreciate it. Harbor Freight sent me this winch because I loved theirs so much. I bought the winch on the 4Runner of mine full price and wanted to get another one for the Land Cruiser. So shout out to Harbor Freight. But the Descent armor is all steel and it bolts all together. It's really cool. The rear bumper is the same exact way. In the pods here, we have got 3-inch Diode Dynamics SS3 pods. These are the amber option with the pro level of output. And you can buy different plates for this section on the bumper, so it's not necessarily the only option, but I kind of just wanted the cleaner look. Some people will put 6-inch light bars here. They also have like little marker lights if you'd like those as well. But the ones that go like this are not sequential turn signals. They're just amber lights, I believe. So I opted to not have those just because I really like this clean look with just the pod. So that's kind of the bulk of the armor up front. This is actually a grill that I bought from Dubai that is really designed for, I think, a turbo diesel Toyota. So if you look very closely, there's some holes on the grill. But I just wanted the heritage looking grill for the Land Cruiser with the kind of old style Toyota written here because I really wanted it to look very similar to the 4Runner, have a lot of the same design characteristics. So under the hood right now, there's basically nothing, but there will be quite a bit changing because I need to put in a whole electrical system and everything to run all of these accessories. All right, I'm gonna overexpose this part of the video as much as I can so I can talk through some of the suspension stuff here. since I'm out here by myself. But the front suspension of the Land Cruiser is pretty intricate. What we had to do is we put on these delta arms, which move the axle forward about an inch or so. They're designed for a 3-inch lift, and they're incredible. They're pretty insane, and the fitment for wheels improves by moving your whole front axle forward a little bit. My whole suspension system is the Dobinson MRR system. These are the 6-inch lift struts with a, I think they're a dual rate 3.5-inch lift spring. So I've got a very specialty MRR setup that I got basically the whole design for from Black Hills Builds, or just Wes, if you know him by Wes. He's got an insane Land Cruiser, and he lives in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And I've been a good buddy of his, and so I'm constantly bugging him for Land Cruiser pointers. So thanks, Wes. Shout out to you, man, for helping me with all kinds of little things and times where I'm kind of panicking on working on the truck. So up front, those are kind of the shock springs, and then those arms. I went with Metaltech 4x4 extended brake lines. And then Slee Off-Road makes a differential hose extension kit that I have on the front. And then a little bit more about the underneath up front here. I've also got a aftermarket Dobinson's front panhard bar. And then we've got a Dobinson's front MRR steering dampener as well. Other than that, we had to put in some spacers so that we could run the sway bar with the lift kit. So there's just some adapter brackets for that. And then the front bump stops are Timbren front bump stops. Now for rock sliders, I don't currently have any rock sliders, and I also don't have any skids. I've really just been slowly picking away at building out this truck and using the 4Runner for trips until I really got this thing absolutely built out like crazy. And so kind of the next thing we did was I did a video on this, but my front and rear hubs for the Land Cruiser have kind of this interesting, I don't know if it's called backspacing or what, but the hub size just sticks out a ways. And so what you basically have to do is, if you want to run special rims that fit those, you can. And that's basically a rim where it has the bore without a lip on it. It's kind of hard to explain, but go check out that video if you're curious. What I essentially ended up doing was running 2-inch spacers on the front and the rear, because you really can't get a wheel with 2 inches of backspacing. And well, maybe you can, but I didn't see too many out there. If you can get that, I chose not to, because I really wanted to run Relation race wheels on the Land Cruiser. So these bronze wheels, I actually bought these with my own money as well. They are kind of the second set that I had before I really started partnering with Relation race wheels. And these are actually the ones from my 4Runner. So the 4Runner and Land Cruiser wheels I bought myself. I've just really been in love with their product, and I think it looks super good. And so for the time being, what I've actually done is swapped my 34-inch tires over onto the Land Cruiser so that I can drive it around some. So we've got 285, 75, 17 Toyo AT3s mounted up on these RR6-H Relation race wheels. Then I've got the black anodized beadlock ring with their gold bolts for mounting up these tires as a beadlock. As for the rear suspension, I've got the Dobinson MRR all around. I've got rear upper and lower adjustable control arms, and then I've also got a new rear panhard bar that's adjustable, as well as the Delta panhard angle correction kit, which kind of pairs nicely with the panhard bar. Addition to that, I have an extended brake line and also that extended breather hose from Slee Off-Road in the rear. And then you can kind of see peeking here is the Descent Off-Road rear bumper. Let's go around to the back and I'll show you a little bit more about it. So this bumper is really sharp. I absolutely love it. The spare tire swing, I believe, can accommodate up to a 37-inch tire, but there's a lot on this bumper that's fairly adjustable, so I think you can accommodate even more than that. But for now, I've just got this 34-inch tire mounted up here. This is kind of another look at the wheel. This is the dual swing out version of the rear bumper. So we've got two arms. This side is their triple jerry can option. They've got a bunch of different configurations for their rear swing. They've also got this like rear cabinet option you can do. I just chose to do this because it seemed a little bit more low key. And it's cool that this is actually designed to fit, like I think it's a 25 quart Yeti so you could put just a cooler back here if you wanted instead of jerry cans. So I really like that feature. This is also kind of a nice table in and of its own if you just want to walk up to it and work inside of it. So on this side, it's kind of cool. They've got a little table here, so you can just set whatever you want on it. It's just a little flip up table. So probably my favorite thing though about the rear hatch is the split hatch. So this opens up and you actually have a tailgate to sit on, which I think is just the coolest. If we crack this open, nothing really going on inside the Land Cruiser yet. I'm still working on building out the interior as well, but we've got some action tracks, and then we packed my trusty Harbor Freight 3-ton jack. This thing's a beast. I don't typically haul this along, but this is my first time running my spacers, the wheels, the suspension, almost everything. And so I just knew I had the space back here, and I tossed a bunch of extra tools in the Land Cruiser just in case I would have any issues. So toss that in. Thanks Harbor Freight for working with me. They've hooked me up with a lot of tools that I use for basically all of my installs on the 4Runner and Land Cruiser. So other than that, nothing too crazy. We've still got the jumper seats back here even. Yeah, nothing really more to say in the rear. This bumper is basically 95% done. The only thing left I have to do is add in the rear lights, which are kind of supplemental lights to these side lights. I think they've got a signal, a brake light, and a reverse light on them. So they're pretty sweet. I just still have to wire them into the trailer plug or pins. So yeah, this is the rear bumper made by Descent, and it's all steel as well and absolutely bulletproof. It's a pretty insane design and build, and honestly all the welds on it are incredible. They almost look like a robot did them, but they're all handmade out in California. So shout out to these guys. Was really stoked to be able to work with them, because honestly I looked for a long time for Land Cruiser armor, and the bulk of the armor options out there I just don't think have the modern look of a lot of the new rigs. And I wanted the Land Cruiser to be super sharp, and I wanted it to look like a modern Overland rig, but with some of that heritage charm. And I think Descent Off-Road was the perfect answer. So reached out to them, and luckily enough for me, they were interested in working with me. So super grateful that they wanted to do that. Well, that's going to be a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, or you like these vehicles, consider subscribing. It means a lot, and it helps me out, helps me to be able to make more videos and content like this. So let me know down in the comment section whether you like to see Land Cruiser content or 4Runner content. I'm just kind of curious to know. I think both vehicles are super cool in their own ways, and there will definitely be more modification videos coming about the Land Cruiser throughout the year. It's just balancing both vehicles and modifying them both. It just takes time, and I'm having fun doing it, but I also want to be able to put out content because I like doing content too. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in any of the past videos about this thing, they're probably going to be linked up in the corner. Otherwise, just go check out my videos page on my channel. I've got a lot of other content that's pretty awesome talking about the individual modifications on the vehicle. So thank you so much. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you all in the next video.